Okay, I am live. I just invited Dr. Christina. Hi!
Hey, Carine, how's it going? Pretty
Good.
good.
I know. Every time this works, I get so excited.
Yeah, you can hear me?
I could hear you. Yeah.
You can see me? Okay, great, great,
Yeah,
great.
we're like doing it.
Okay, let me increase the volume.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, welcome everyone to the Infinite Love Show where we talk to people that I love and they are going to talk about what they love in the world and what their passions are and how they are bringing what they love into the world. I am Camara. I am an intuitive acupuncturist and energy medicine practitioner, and I absolutely love what I do, and I love spreading healing and love to the population that I get to touch, and I'm so blessed to have the honor to work with. And I'm here with Dr. Christina Alba, who is an amazing chiropractor, who is my personal chiropractor, and I love her so much. And I just wanted to have this platform so she can tell us more about what she does.
Yes, thank you for having me, Carine. It's a joy to be here on your IG Live.
I know, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So how long have you been a chiropractor?
I've been a chiropractor since 2014, so that's coming up on 6 years. So, yeah. And I practice in Lafayette. I'm in a location that overlooks the redwood trees.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a family practitioner, so I deal a lot with women, moms. We've had a whole host of pregnant mamas suddenly. It must be like a thing. And it's a joy to really see women coming into their own,
Mm-hmm.
engage in their own health, feel amazing about their bodies at any stage of life, whether it's prenatal, during pregnancy, and then when they have 1, 2 kids, seeing them through that and supporting their family.
So when did you fall in love with chiropractic work?
That's a great question. So I had been a chiropractic patient myself for a long time because
Mm-hmm.
prior to this, I worked in corporate America. So I was at a desk and I was typing away. I had poor posture, bad ergonomics, and one day I went to turn my head to talk to my colleague and I couldn't move. So I was stuck in this position. So I had to
Oh
wheel
God.
myself, and driving, basic things like showering, brushing my hair became really challenging. And someone suggested I go to a chiropractor. And I was like, oh, please, what can they do? I'll just pop some Tylenol.
Right.
And so I tried it out because I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people come to the chiropractor as a second, third, or fourth effort. And luckily, I found someone that made sense for me, that worked with me, that understood my needs,
Mm-hmm.
and I became a patient. So I started out, as someone suffering from traditional neck pain. And then
Okay.
I realized there was so much more that I could have better digestion, that I
Mm-hmm.
could improve my ergonomics. So at work, I wasn't damaging myself each time I sat poorly.
Mm-hmm.
I made little changes each and every day. And I got to the point where I decided I should become one myself. So voila, here I am.
And I mean, there's a lot of things that you love about chiropractic work. And when you were in chiropractic school, you also found love there as well. So it feels like
Yes.
your chiropractic experience has introduced a lot of love in your life.
Yeah, yeah. So it was my, I think, second quarter of chiropractic school. And this is my version of the story.
There's always two.
There's always two versions. Um, and it was a chiropractic for business course that was taught by a Dr. Brian Flannery. And
Mhm.
so I'm in the class and there's a project. And I was like, oh, this is a cool project, you know. And I had mentioned that I was in corporate, that I had done X, Y, and Z. And I thought I'd be a little bratty. And I said, this project is great. I would also add the following questions as part of your guideline of questions of how someone could run a practice potentially.
Right.
And so I added like question 8A, question 8B,
Mhm.
question 8C. Oh, hi, Dr. Joe. And I'm telling the story of how I met Dr. Brian, Dr. Joe. He's a fellow chiropractor.
Oh, okay, great.
One in San Francisco. I can tell you more about him later.
Okay.
And so Dr. Brian Flannery said, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know you used to work in marketing and branding. Let's connect. Let's meet. I want to hear about what you used to do. Let's talk shop. And so long story short, we fell in love. And so I ended up marrying my chiropractic instructor.
So you were hot for teacher. Nice.
Yeah, you know.
That's great.
So this is my second career, so I have a different viewpoint than a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had I've only done this, but I feel like the people that have come to healing work as a second option have a different level of commitment to it because it's a choice that they made after realizing something else didn't work for them.
Right. And I think the types of skills are different too.
Uh-oh. Is it my connection? I don't know what to do when these types of situations happen. Hey, Christina, are you still there? Oh no, she got kicked off. Christina is definitely frozen. Let's see if I can add her back. Okay, thanks. The Lafayette Chamber. Nice, thank you.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. I was like,
I'm back.
what
I'm
to
sorry.
do?
I was frozen. I'm back.
Okay. So what we were talking about, this being your second career.
Yes. Yeah. So I think people who come into the healing profession or go into any profession as a second, third go around have a different perspective, and I think take it more seriously and have different life experiences to add value to it.
Right.
So while some of my other classmates were just kicking it, I was like, nah, man, I gotta hustle through this because I got to go home. I got to get ready. I got to study. So, and then of course I was involved in different clubs and activities because I like to make myself busy. And
I mean, that's how we met. We met at the Lafayette Chamber of Commerce when you were the president.
Yeah, it was great. It was a class about networking, actually. So
yeah, it was networking and Instagram. Wasn't it on social media? A little bit about social media?
How to slightly better leverage social media from like a layperson's experience, because I'm not a social media expert by any means. I like to use it because it's fun and it's entertaining. But and this is a true story. I don't know if you'll remember this, but I was like, I wish I could like meet an acupuncturist to grow the group of health and wellness people that I know, because I'd love to refer to an acupuncturist that works with women. That'd be so great because I work with women, moms. So, and at the end of the talk, he walked right up to me and he said, "I'm an acupuncturist." And I went, "What?" I'm like, "Whoa, that was crazy. That was crazy."
Yeah, and it's interesting because I never really liked chiropractic work. I've worked with chiropractors in the past, and I always felt like it kind of sort of helped, but it was just so intense and I didn't love it. And it wasn't until I met you that I was like, oh wow, chiropractic work it's an amazingly effective way of healing, but it's also really depends on the practitioner. And having someone I trust, someone that's knowledgeable, that explains everything, so there's no surprises, because I feel like I've worked with chiropractors that they don't tell you what they're doing, and all of a sudden they just start cracking stuff, and you're like, what's happening?
Like, what just happened?
Yeah, which is,
yeah. I think what I wanted to do when we started Rivulet Chiropractic was to distinguish ourselves as a family wellness practice that guides you along the way, that
Mm-hmm.
is effective, it is safe, it is gentle. I'm also the kind of person that will explain so that I can help manage your expectations so that
Mm-hmm.
you're not surprised. Because I think that's where a lot of the poor perception comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be different in that sense, and really educate. So education is a big part of what we do. It's what I value a lot too,
Mm-hmm.
just explaining it, breaking it down, because how you interpret something may be different from another person. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I implement a variety of styles. Because when you adjust a pregnant woman who's about to give birth, it's very different than when you adjust, a 10-year-old boy. It's very
Right.
different than when you adjust someone who's 60 years old and has a lot of osteoporosis,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So you really have to adapt and listen to your audience. So, and I think that's fun too, because that's part of the puzzle and the challenge. And as you start to work with people and build that rapport, and they begin to trust you, and
Mm-hmm.
they trust their own body to heal. And I'm sure you find this too, that they allow
Yeah.
themselves to be free finally.
Right. And so, I mean, I love that you spoke about the family practice because it's very unique to you. And I mean, I've never even heard of a, I mean, I'm sure they exist, but I never heard of a family chiropractor until I met you. And it definitely feels like a family. Like when you go into your office, you definitely have that family wellness, very comforting vibe. And I feel like that's definitely who you are. So, I mean, I feel like your love and passionate about your work is eminent when people step into your space. And how do you feel like that translates to people or into into your marketing material and how you communicate?
Right, right. So everything, our tagline is let life flow, because we want it to be this easy, fun,
Hmm.
happy, vibrant place. And so typically, you know, prior to coronavirus, like we would have kids, we have a kids table, because I
Hmm.
feel that when you invite a family in, especially a mom who's hesitant about bringing her child in, like the child might have a bedwetting issue
Right.
or might have an allergy or things you don't typically associate with chiropractic, or an ear infection. But those, by freeing up the nervous system, it creates pathways that open up those channels so that kid can go to the bathroom when they want to, that kid can breathe more normally, that
Hmm.
kid can be free. So I want to make it this place where kids come in and they feel like they can be themselves. They can feel welcome. They know that there's nothing wrong with them, because in traditional doctors' offices, there's always a label. You walk in and, oh, you already feel bad. You can tell by their posture and their
Hmm.
disposition, they're in trouble. And I want the child to know, and the parents to know, and the whole family to know that there's nothing wrong with your child. There's nothing wrong with you. It's a matter of bringing out what's right inside of you,
Hmm.
bringing that out. And that's what we can celebrate. And that's why it's fun and vibrant, because healing should be enjoyable. It's a natural process that we've forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, what about you outside of work? Like, what do you love about your life or things that you really want to fuel outside of work that you're passionate about?
Yeah. So little background. When I married Dr. Brian, he came with 3 kids
Hmm.
and a dog. So it's like a Costco package, right? It's a
One
whole deal,
shot.
right? One shot.
Yeah, one shot.
And so they have taught me so much about patience
Hmm.
and just dealing with, okay, here we are. And that's
Yeah.
part of life and part of raising kids. And during this whole coronavirus epidemic, I've challenged them to wake up early and do some yoga, do some workouts. My husband's really good at coaching them on jogging and running, so the whole family's become healthier and more fit and more body aware because of it.
Hmm.
And so at home, I like to encourage them to work out, because I like to work out. I like to do different things. Shout out to Pure Barre, Walnut Creek,
Nice.
Power Yoga, Walnut Creek. I missed the heated, although the other day was quite hot, so I could have just
You could have done yoga in your
done
office.
yoga there. Yeah, my God.
Yeah.
So I like to be active and fit. I've always been interested in athletics and biomechanically, how does that impact the body? So it was natural for me to go into chiropractic. I also like to eat, so we've been cooking a lot. My husband has a sous vide where he prepares his meats, and it's like a whole thing, and we have family meals. So we're doing a lot of grocery shopping, a lot of cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like to impart that knowledge on my family, even though it drives them crazy sometimes. Yeah, so I like to work out. I like to eat. Travel. Last year I had the good fortune of being able to go to Costa Rica. We went
Oh yeah.
on that Costa Rica vacation for 1 week, and it was about a year ago this time. It was spring breakish, so okay, a little past spring break because now we're going into summer break. And then I returned in July, I think, or June. So yeah, I went twice, and the second time was for an all-women's chiropractic volunteer trip. So we went and we adjusted people at a yoga studio in Playa Grande in Costa Rica. That was fantastic. So it was nice to be with other empowering female chiropractors. Shout out to Dr. Mo, Dr. Tam, and everyone there.
Nice. Yeah, that I feel like that's such a great way to go on vacation because you can
Oh,
do things that you love, be of service, and relax all at the same time.
yeah, yeah. The beach is great. Beach is great there. Yeah, I contemplate semi-retiring in Costa Rica. So
Really?
yeah, yeah, it's a great place. It's a great place. Yeah.
I went there once and
Uh-huh.
I went to the Atlantic side, and I
Okay.
had to take a little boat to get there. So I
Yeah.
want to go to Costa Rica as long as I don't like flying, so to be on a little plane was, I mean,
Terrifying.
it was terrifying. And the only thing that kept me calm is that I was on the plane with a 6-year-old who was fine. And I felt like, okay, there's a 6-year-old girl who's fine. I
I should
need
be
to
good.
I need to calm down. It was I was like, oh, because you hear all these stories of people that die on planes, and it's almost always these tiny planes with like 5 people or 6 people.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So that's like one of my biggest fears is flying tiny, tiny planes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
So, so in terms of your work, is there anything
Yeah.
that you're working on that's new and exciting that you want to like tell us about, or what you're working on in terms of projects or ideas?
Yeah. So because a lot of people are at home, working from home, sheltering in
Hmm.
place, uh, they are creating strange workplace situations out of necessity. So
Right.
I've seen things such as an ironing board as a desk. So
Ooh.
um,
Mm.
women who are busy and they're also homeschooling, but thankfully school is ending. So moms out there, you get a respite from homeschooling for a little bit.
Yeah.
But they would be in their bathroom sitting on the toilet on a laptop on a Zoom meeting.
Oh,
So
Lord.
true story. And
Hmm.
so I thought, well, there has to be some way to educate and engage with people on how they can better their posture since they're working from home. And it's been
Hmm.
2 months for most people. So I started to do a series of ergonomic workshops. So it's like this format, except it's on Zoom,
Hmm.
or we can do an individual consultation. And I'm looking at your workspace. I'm actually looking at your desk, and you move your phone, you move your computer around, and I can make live corrections right there. So it's kind of like telehealth or telemedicine, so to
Hmm.
speak. So I've been really trying to access digital platforms to still reach patients. And you and I are both essential healthcare workers, uh,
Right.
but I think there's a hesitancy to still leave the house despite
Hmm.
certain restrictions are lifting. I think people
Yeah.
have that fear instilled in them,
Hmm.
and so I'm trying to kind of reach out to them in a way where they can feel safe and also not be in such horrid posture, because those you may think, oh, it's just 2 or 3 months, or who knows, it might be half a year. It could go longer. And also,
Hmm.
you're sustaining damage to your ligaments, to your tendons for the long term. And that's when people get headaches, migraines,
Hmm.
um, something called forward head posture. You see that a lot with the rounded shoulders. So if I can help people through their screens, then all the better. So that's a big project of mine, is the ergonomic workshops, and it's part of corporate wellness, or it can be part of individual wellness.
Hmm. I love that because it's like, even though we're unable or clients are not coming to see us, we're still finding ways to still help
Oh,
people and
totally.
still, I mean, because I don't know about you, but for me, if I'm not working or helping people, I feel like I get agitated almost. I'm like, oh my God, like who can I talk to? Who can
Yeah,
I
yeah.
work
Like,
on?
what can I do? How can I be of service? Like,
I know.
am I doing something? Do you need help? What
Sure.
do you?
Right? Like random people on the street. Can I help you with that?
Yeah. Here you go.
I know it's like this constant fire to like just give and share and help. And so I love that. I think it's a great thing to do because I feel like working from home, if I knew, I mean, I get to go to my office, but if I had to work from home, I would have set up my house completely differently.
Oh yeah,
Because, yeah,
yeah.
because
And
working
some
on my
people,
couch doesn't work.
yeah, working on the couch is not good. And
Mm-mm.
they you don't have to order a bunch of crazy fancy expensive furniture.
Hmm.
It can be very simple, doable things that you can implement. It could be as simple as putting books under the monitor to raise it so that it's more eye level. It could be the distance between the screen and the front of your body. It could be bringing the keyboard down or grabbing that external keyboard that you never
Hmm.
use. So people are getting creative, um, and you start to adopt this. This is what I have. What can I do? So I'm trying to work
Right.
with that.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so in terms of family, you also work with babies, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm always like amazed. I don't work with infants or I don't work with
Uh-huh.
children in general. I mean, unless the mom asks me to, but kids are not usually keen on getting needled, which I would understand. Um, but so when you work with infants or so
Yes.
you're using the activator?
It depends on the infant and what's going on. So when you work with babies, their bones are not ossified, so they're you know so that it's mostly cartilage,
Hmm.
and you care for them in a different way. You ask about their birth, you ask about the mom and her experience, and ideally the mom had been adjusted before so that her
Hmm.
hips were aligned to ensure an easier, safer delivery
Right.
as much as possible. And so when the baby comes out, the head might be tilted to one side. And you'll notice in pictures too, because everyone's taking pictures of the newborns. And so every baby's online. And
Yeah.
so you apply the most gentle amount of movement and
Hmm.
pressure. And there's a whole art to pediatric chiropractic.
Hmm.
And uh, it's amazing because you can see how baby rights its head. You can see them wiggle. They respond very quickly. Similar
Hmm.
to animals, when people adjust. And so there are chiropractors who specialize in animal chiropractic. When they adjust a horse, that's a racehorse. When they adjust a purebred dog for like a show dog,
Hmm.
you can see them reacting right away because they have less of the conscious filter that we as humans do. Same with babies, newborns,
Nice.
toddlers, kids. They're the first to call you out on your BS. So if something's not working, they'll tell you right away.
They start crying or whatever.
They start crying,
Hmm.
and then after the adjustment, there may be this ease. They may fall asleep right away. If
Hmm.
they've been constipated, you get poopy diaper. So, which shows that the nervous system is engaging the sacrum, the bottom
Hmm.
bone, so that they can finally let go of that constipated blockage. So that's why you get a poopy diaper.
So you took extra training to work with infants and children?
Yes, yes, and I'm
Nice.
continuing to. So, and there's always ongoing learning.
It's like continuing education is like
Yeah,
never ending. Well, I
yeah.
think do you have to do it for your license as well?
No, I can choose to go into any different number of areas of chiropractic. So when you graduate, you get a Doctor of Chiropractic
Hmm.
degree. So it's licensed in all of the nation, and then you get a state license. And then I chose to take on an X-ray license. So I studied for that test, got an X-ray machine. So I have digital in-house X-rays
Hmm.
which not all chiropractors do. Some do, some don't. It depends on how you want to practice. I feel it's a valuable educational tool and also a clinical tool so I can see.
Hmm.
And then I started to learn more about pediatric chiropractic. And I mentioned some people go into animal chiropractic, some go into sports
Hmm.
chiropractic, some go into all different types and styles, and it's an
Hmm.
additional degree or a diplomate.
Got
Dr.
it.
For example, has a diplomate extra degree in chiropractic philosophy. So he has an extra letter.
Wait, for chiropractic philosophy? What's that?
Oh, that's a big question.
I don't even know. I've
So,
never heard of that.
yeah, it is because chiropractic is unique and separate from medicine, and it
Right.
works with what is going well with the body. And the whole premise is that you have this innate potential to heal. And what you're doing is you're removing the interference or the blockages or what we call vertebral subluxations to the nervous system. So there's a whole philosophy about it. So one of my favorite, he's long dead, chiropractors, and I'll read the quote, I have it up here. And this is like one of the tenets of philosophy, and there's a bunch of other stuff, is you never know how far reaching something you say, think, or do today will affect the lives of millions tomorrow. So
Hmm.
by adjusting a mom, her pelvis is in a better position so that she can deliver the baby safely
Hmm.
and with less labor time, ideally.
Right.
And so then that baby has a better opportunity to be born. That same baby will, so then you have all these intergenerational things. So that's part of the philosophy. So I'm just touching upon one thing because it's a whole degree, but
Wow.
it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So one of the courses we took in chiropractic school, well, many of the courses had to do with chiropractic philosophy. In addition to the clinical stuff, like all your biologies, your neurologies, tons of X-ray and radiography, so that you're ready to serve people. So
Nice.
and
And so, if you weren't a
uh-huh.
chiropractic doctor, is there anything else you would be doing? Like, what else would you be doing? Or is this the only thing you can imagine doing?
That's a great question. Well, I had a career in marketing and branding, so but I did that for like a decade and a half, 2 decades. Um, I dabbled with the idea of fitness instructor,
Hmm.
I think.
A
Um,
Zumba instructor?
oh yeah,
I love Zumba.
you too. I secretly love Zumba.
Yeah.
Um, my cousin's a Zumba instructor, so
Oh,
shout
really?
out to Jason. I hope you're
Nice.
watching this. You're probably teaching a Zumba class or some other class. I think, and then at one point I wanted to be a translator because I like linguistics, I like language, I like how people put words together and what is the meaning behind words. And
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
yeah. So a translator, I don't know, Spanish, Japanese. So yeah, something to do with travel. Yeah, probably something
Yeah.
to do with travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always ask myself that question, like, what would I do if I wasn't an acupuncturist? And
What
I,
would you do?
I mean, I think I would still be in the healing arts. I'd maybe be a
Mm-hmm.
speaker or I'd be a teacher, which I am anyway, but like I would maybe just be
Yes.
doing that full time, you know?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Like, I mean, I originally wanted to go into public health and
Okay.
but then I felt like it would be too administrative, like just, and I wanted to be with people. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. But you know what would be cool would to
Well,
be a talk show host. Yeah.
I think you should. I mean, you have the platform now. You're
And
kind of
now I
doing
do. Like
it.
now I'm kind of like my talk show host dream. Um, but yeah, if I would go back, I think I would be a broadcast journalist if I could, if
Oh
I
wow.
if I didn't have, if I
Uh-huh.
wasn't inclined to do the healing arts, I would become a broadcast journalist. And when I was younger, I just didn't think it was possible for me. Like I would look, when I thought about it, but I didn't see anyone that looked like me on TV. So I was like, eh. It was
Oh,
just Oprah. And I was just like, well,
just over.
well, now look at Oprah. But yeah, when I was young, I just didn't think I could do
Yeah.
it. So I think
Well,
now, if I was a teenager now and I did become a healer, I would be a broadcast journalist. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think what you're doing now is perhaps the small part of your dream coming true, because
Exactly. Okay, I
you're
could.
inviting all these people, and
Hmm.
also I to point out people of color. So I feel
Yeah.
grateful that you invited me on this platform, because as a woman of color, I may not have had this opportunity to
Oh,
speak
thank
about.
you.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's important for people to see. Like, I think being a Black acupuncturist, people always ask me, like, "Oh my God, I've never met one before." And I
Uh-huh.
think the same in the chiropractic world. I don't. I mean, I think I've met a few Asians, but not as many as white
Yeah,
males.
exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, predominantly it was white males, and
yeah.
that's interesting because when I worked with my husband, which was fantastic, but we just grew apart in terms of what we wanted to do with the practice.
Hmm.
Um, Most people thought I was just the admin,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, they would look to him and be like, "Oh, he's the doctor," and they would straight up walk up to me and be like, "Oh, is the doctor here?" So you and I each have a great opportunity.
Lord.
You and I each have a great opportunity to change that perception. You being a
Yes.
Black acupuncturist, and me being a Asian chiropractor.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it is changing in chiropractic schools. You'll see more color, more
Hmm.
Latino faces, more Black faces, more Asian faces.
Hmm.
Yeah, but before, historically, it used to be just white males in the chiropractic realm, and then how do you educate on all of that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, acupuncturists tend to be mostly female. It's interesting. When I went to acupuncture school, it was a majority female, and there was a
Hmm.
small amount of males. And of course, they're Asians because it's
Hmm.
Chinese medicine.
Correct.
Um, but I was the only Black girl in my school, Black person in my school.
Oh, okay.
And it's a school about 300 people, and I was the only Black woman. And when I was about to graduate, there was another Black guy that was taking
Okay.
over the token Black position. Um,
Uh-huh.
but I think now there's more, but there's still definitely not a lot. I mean, there's not a lot of acupuncturists in general. There's only about 15,000 in the state of California. And so, but I'm always excited when people of color are being introduced to the healing arts and
Yeah, me too.
wanting to explore more and use it as a way of healing. Because I know
Mhm.
with acupuncture, the needles are a big deterrent. So it's really hard for me. It's not hard for me. I don't like needles. I don't love needles. It's not something I'm always about to impart on people that it's a needle. You
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. But it's not like getting a vaccination. I think that's where people get caught
I
up because all of us are traumatized from vaccinations as children. And that trauma of shots is in most of our psyches. Uh, we got traumatized with vaccinations the minute we were out the womb. Like shots
right.
here, shots there. And I think people associate that with needles. So I do a lot of education to show people that these are needles that are different
Yes, they're safe,
and
effective.
and they're not, they're not as painful. And I myself had to fall in love with acupuncture because initially I didn't want to do it because I don't like needles. So I had a similar experience to you where I got acupuncture because I had a health condition, I had a health scare, and acupuncture helped to heal it. And then I fell in love with it because I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is what I want to do. But if I didn't have that experience, I don't think I would have gravitated towards acupuncture because of the needles. So it's one of those things where, and it's the same with chiropractic work. Like, I don't think I would, I mean, I'm not a chiropractor, but I didn't think about it because I was always so freaked out whenever I got my neck cracked. I was always like, ah! And, so I mean, you kind of fall in love with things that resonate the
Yeah.
most with you. And also picking your practitioners, right? The practitioners that work
Yes.
well
Yeah.
with what you're doing. And yeah.
Yeah. You have to find the one that works for you. So, like, not everyone works well with me, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm more than happy to refer a person that makes sense for you, or geographically, like if
Hmm.
it's far away from you. Um, and chiropractors are interesting in that, like, we have our crew of people, because I feel like we love to share information, so we don't hesitate about protecting our information. I mean, we don't protect our information like we want other chiropractors to do well. I do, at least.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I feel like you want everyone to do well. Like, you know,
Oh
like,
yeah.
so it's like you're always lifting up the community and, with
Trying
that belief,
to.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if, I succeed, you succeed. Like, we're
Mhm.
all winners and there's no competition, which is,
No.
something I admire because I feel like as coworkers or, people that refer to each other, it's really nice to be with someone that doesn't have that, like, this is my client. Because it doesn't, because it
Yeah.
definitely
That's,
takes a village.
yes.
And Tiffany's saying, I second that. The
Oh,
essential
hi,
oils.
Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think to
yeah.
have like a wellness team too. Like you're
Hmm.
you're an essential part of my wellness team. I try to
Hmm.
talk about you and kind of suss out like, would you be open to acupuncture? Would you be open to this? Because
Hmm.
not so you. So that's another thing that I really want to do is be a connector.
Right.
Yeah, as part of a chiropractor, healer, wellness educator, I want to connect people, with
Hmm.
like essential oils
Right.
and acupuncture.
Hmm.
Also, I'm very open to different styles of massage depending on what a patient needs. So I refer to
Right.
types of massage therapists,
Hmm.
and like workouts. Some people are into group workouts, and so I'm like, okay, go here or there.
Hmm.
Other
Hmm.
people just want an individual workout, so then I would recommend someone like John Gillum Fitness, who I've
Hmm.
worked with. So,
He's
and it's
great.
always it's fun in our field because I feel like we're always trying out and visiting other types of healing practices and modalities
Hmm.
for our own benefit because we're trying
Right.
to heal ourselves.
I feel like most people, at least that I know that are in the healing arts, have had an experience that brought them to it, and they're
Yeah,
still working on themselves. Like it's never ending. Like I'm always trying to figure out what's the best enzyme, what's this, what's
yeah,
that, how can I do this, and then I impart that to my clients, right? Because I've tried it. Like, usually things I suggest to people are things that
yeah.
I've walked through.
Right.
I'm that type of person. Not everyone's like that, but if I'm gonna tell you to do something, it's because I've done it. Like if
Yeah,
I'm telling
that's
you to meditate, because I'm meditating. Like, I'm
right.
not going to tell you to do something that I don't do. And I'm honest with people. I'm like, yeah, you could try that. I've never tried it, but
Yeah.
you should
Let me
try
know. Yeah.
it.
Let me know how that goes.
Let me know how it goes. Because not everything works for everyone. Like,
Yeah.
so some things that work for me are not going to work for you or anyone else. So, but I like to give people
Yeah.
that option, right? Being like, these are the things that you can do.
Yes.
Choose, something that works for you. And because it's not a cookie cutter. It's
No,
definitely
no,
not.
no, no. It's really unique and different, and I think that's where, like with um, my practice, I really like to get to know someone, and I noticed this too with your intake. You're very comprehensive. I'm like, I like this girl. She's detailed. She knows what she's asking for, and she's
Yeah.
getting to the heart of it. So I appreciate that about when I started to see you, um, because I really want to dive deep and understand it. Because I'm not a chiropractor at Kaiser. I'm not like the
Hmm.
cookie cutter chiropractor. I ask a lot of questions,
Hmm.
and I try to remember people's birthdays and kids' names and all that because I mean that's important to you. And I think if you have that support, then aside from the clinical healing, people feel heard, people feel
Right.
seen. And so
Yeah. I mean, I think you're more like a holistic chiropractor.
oh, cool.
It's not just like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. Next. I think you spend a little bit more time. And also you're a bit intuitive. So you always kind of know what's happening, a little deeper on the issues there.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm curious too. I'm like, oh, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And some people
Yeah,
are like, just adjust me. I gotta kill them. Okay,
yeah,
bye, peace.
yeah. Thanks, Tiffany. Tiffany says you both are excellent and trying to understand the root of all things.
Oh, thank you,
Oh, thank
Tiffany.
you,
That's
Tiffany.
very sweet.
Um, yeah, I think for me that's the core. That's what's exciting about healing is
Mhm.
getting to the core of what's happening, and then it becomes miraculous because then it just starts to unravel, things start to shift, and then when you leave that place and you have moved past it, you can look back and be like, "Oh my God, like
Yeah,
that pain caused me to have this neck pain, that caused this, that caused that," and when you release all of that, it's like a straight miracle. You're like, "Ah."
yeah, and
It's
it's
so freeing.
super empowering for them, and it's
Hmm.
really great for me to witness because I
Yeah.
can see their growth. And then
Yeah.
you have that point in time where you can remind someone, like, remember when you were over
Hmm.
here? and now you've progressed here. Okay, you took a setback. That's okay. You will
Right.
get back to it. And they forget, but you see, you believe in them. You believe in
Hmm.
their body's ability to heal
Yeah,
without, all that excess stuff. So it's,
totally.
and that's what
It's
makes me very happy.
Oh yeah, that's what it is about. It's a
Yeah.
totally to seeing or being able to witness these transformations. I mean, that's why I love what I love. I love this work because it's like, oh
Uh-huh.
my God. I mean, it's not always easy that, there's a lot of, being an entrepreneur has its ups and downs, and
Oh, for sure.
that's a whole
And
nother conversation.
yeah, that's another.
But it's another live.
Yeah.
Being an entrepreneur. But it's like those moments that I get so excited about because I'm like, it was all worth it. Like,
Yes.
especially when you had a bad day, like, you got to pay your
Yeah.
taxes, all this stuff happens, and then those moments of joy, you're like, ah.
Yeah. That's the gravy. That's the sweet stuff.
Yeah, and it totally makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
So cool. Like, we're gonna wrap this up, but tell
Cool.
us how people can follow you, get involved in the things that you're offering.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're on Instagram, you can follow us at Rivulet Chiro. I like to post educational stuff. I'll have testimonials of patients because when they're getting healthier and happier, as you know, they can't contain themselves. They just want to share like how they're able to do certain things that they
Right.
weren't able to do, or return to
Hmm.
their old bodies and old workouts and things that they love doing. So and then I'm also on Facebook at Rivulet Chiro. I can give you the phone number, but if you follow that, you'll be fine. And I'm also extending an offer to first responders. So that is nurses, people who work in hospitals, that's fire, police. It's a consultation and exam and x-ray if necessary. So we don't know until you come in and go through the consultation.
Hmm.
And that is going to be complimentary. So it's normally $375, but if you're a first responder, helping people on the front line, then it's complimentary. It does not include the chiropractic adjustment because I don't know if you want to be part of our practice, and we can always discuss the next step. But at least that first, I would say, hour meeting is free if you're a front
Nice.
line person. So if you know of any nurse, MD, fire, police, send them my way if they're interested, and I can talk to them and see if they want to come in for a free consultation and exam.
Great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
show.
you for having me. This was a lot of fun. We laughed so much.
That was great.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm Carine Camara, and you can find me at Pelvis Wellness, and I'm offering some free healings. There's one this Sunday calling Tap Into Your Sacral Truth, where I'm working with two other healers, and we are working on strengthening the root chakra with a sound healing and a Reiki meditation, which is going to be really exciting. And then I am doing a free group healing on Tuesday about balancing your nervous system. You can find all that information in my links tree in my bio. So hope you can join us.
Yes. Thank you for having me, really.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll see you soon.
Yes. Much
All right.
love.
Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you.